email marketing is outdated and annoying. Yeah, and it only works if you've got a list of thousands of people.
Actually, neither of these idiots have a clue what they're talking about. And I guarantee if you agree with them, it's most likely because you're using your email list in completely the wrong way. And so you're missing out on the closest thing to free money you'll ever come across. And so for that reason, I'm going to fix your problems once and for all. No more searching needed. I'm going to show you everything from how to use your email list to generate clients regularly, what tools and softwares to use to save you time and money, and even reveal my email marketing strategy and monthly schedule that currently generates me over 7 figures a year completely for free. I think more often than not, when it comes to email marketing, entrepreneurs and business owners fall into one of 3 camps. Camp 1 are those who are struggling to build an email list, and so they think surely it can't be an effective revenue generator if there's not that many people on there. Camp 2 are those who already have an email list but have no idea how to use it correctly, and so might end up sending out a newsletter once a month that gets little to no engagement, and so ultimately think about giving up on the whole thing. And finally, Camp 3 are those who think that an email list is the biggest waste of time and there's no way that anyone gets clients from emails anymore. So to start off, it's really important that you realize that focusing on your email list from the very beginning, when you have just a handful of people on your list, is really, really important. Don't fall into the trap of waiting until you have thousands of people on the list, you're confident that they're all targeted people, and suddenly it's at a size that's worth you focusing on it. What will happen is all of the people that have been joining your list over the last few weeks and months to get you to that point have now forgotten who you are, they're now disengaged, and they don't care about what you've got to say. What you needed to have done is when you get your first 10, 50, 100 leads on your list, at that point, it's probably not producing you a great deal of extra revenue, but you need to stay in communication with them. So send them an email at least once a week, provide them some content, remind them of your name, and have them expect to see your name in their email inbox. What will then happen is as you get into a rhythm of that, as your list does start to grow, when it eventually is into the hundreds of leads or maybe even the thousands of leads, you'll be able to, at the push of a button, send out a promotional message that might generate 5, sometimes even 6 figures worth of revenue for your business, but it's because you put in the work in the beginning. So the first question on your mind is, well, how do you build an email list? How do we even get started in this game? And how can we make sure that we're getting the right people on the list? Well, there's 2 vehicles that I like to use and that I find very, very effective. The first is a webinar funnel. A webinar funnel is where you've created an online presentation that you may deliver live, or you might actually pre-record it and set it up as an automated version. But regardless, for people to register for that webinar, they need to give you their name and email address. I particularly love this strategy because people are opting in and joining your email list to be in your sales funnel that is then going to present something to them that hopefully will generate you some revenue. So there's no extra work needed to build the list. Your webinar is the sales generator, and quite simply, they opt in to register, and that is building your list. But the second strategy that I like, and I've got a few examples here, would be giving out lead magnets. A lead magnet is where you offer something, a bribe, for someone to give you their name and email address. So for example, this is one that we've used in the past. Funnily enough, the webinar funnel cheat sheet. It's a little document that teaches what we do with webinars, and we give this away for free, a digital version, in exchange for someone's name and email. We've also got this. It's a sales framework. We've got the push script and we've got the pull script, and we offer these 2 frameworks together in exchange for someone's name and email address. You get the idea. Here's another one. These are just printouts to give you an example of a digital asset that we send them. Here's a webinar walkthrough, and we've also got another one that we updated just recently. So what works well with lead magnets like this is you don't make it too complicated, you don't have loads and loads of information, just something that's really quick, easy to digest and consume, and that will build your list, but it'll also leave your prospects then wanting more. So now when they get further emails from you, or perhaps you even send them immediately after opting in into your next sales funnel, they're ready, they're eager to find out what else you've got and maybe look at your paid opportunities. And if you want to go deeper on this topic, I've done a whole video actually just on lead magnets and how to create them and how to find the right people for them. So there's a link up here to that video if you want to go check that out. So once you have a good idea for a lead magnet, what you need is now a software, a piece of kit that's going to help you bring that to life. And there's 2 things that you need a software to achieve for you. The first is to help you put a page together that looks something like this, a nice, beautiful page that offers that lead magnet. As you can see here, this is the page that we use to offer the push and the pull script that I just mentioned for free. Someone clicks this button and they opt in. But once they opt in, we also now need a software to add those emails onto our email list and give us the ability to follow up with them, send them more emails, provide more value, and hopefully generate more revenue. And in an ideal world, you'll have a software that can achieve both of those things on the same platform. The last thing you want is to have to sign up for a boatload of different softwares. It's going to rack up a huge bill and you're trying to duct tape them all together to work together. My recommendation would be a platform that we've built called Funneler. It's absolutely incredible. It's an all-in-one marketing platform that will handle your pages, your funnels, your email, and actually so much more. But if I just show you the funnel feature, this is the page that I just showed you. And you can see that when someone opts in, we can add them to a list, we can add them to a sequence of emails that go out automatically, and then we can send them to the next part of the funnel so that when they opt in, we can automatically send them to the next part of our funnel that hopefully will build some more relationship and offer them perhaps one of your paid programs, and maybe they'll say yes. And these sequences are really important because they may not take action on the first exposure to your offer. And so you can see inside of Funneler, we also have a visual email builder where when someone first opts in, they get their first email from you, which is completely automated. And then we can have a delay, maybe one day. Then the next day they get another email, and then we can delay it again another day, and then they get another email, and this can go on endlessly. You can add as many of those automated emails as your heart desires. And quite frankly, this is just scratching the surface of what's possible with Funneler. What we've created here is absolutely sensational. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description box. You can actually grab a 14-day free trial, have a play around with it, completely risk-free. I think you'll fall in love with it. Now, you can have a good email strategy, you can have a great lead magnet, you can have a great funnel builder, and you can have some great automated email sequences created. It's all going to be for nothing if you don't understand a very important yet simple skill called copywriting. You need to understand how to craft subject lines that get emails opened and how to write emails that get clicks through to your page where people will take action. So I'm going to teach you how to do this stuff right now, and then I'm going to share with you some live examples from promotions that I've done that have generated 6 figures in revenue. So firstly, and you're going to want to write this down, so grab a pen and grab some paper. There are 3 types of subject line categories. The first is personal, second is clickbait, third is informed. Let's talk about these. The first category of subject line is the personal category. This is where you're going to write an email that sounds like you're speaking to just one person. Even though it's going out to hundreds, if not thousands of people, you want to make it feel far more personal. So an example of that subject line might be, hey, first name. Sorry, first name. How are you, first name. These types of subject lines do work very well to get the open, but you need to make sure the email itself matches that, which we'll get to later on. The second category is clickbait. This is where we're going to say stuff in our subject line that they have no idea what the content of the email actually is, and they need to click, they need to open that email to find out what the heck you're talking about. An example of this might be good news and bad news. And it's like, well, I need to know what that good news is. I need to know what the bad news is. I don't know anything about this, right? Another example would be, I just made the biggest mistake of my career. So it's very enticing, it's very clickbaity. You don't really know what it is inside the email. You need to open it to find out. And the third category is informed subject lines. This is where you do the complete opposite to clickbait. You make it very clear what is inside of this email, and they're clicking because they want what's in the subject line. They're not clicking because they need to find out more about it. So for example, a subject line might be new webinar. How to land 10 clients this week. Or you might say free video, how to use LinkedIn to generate your next client. They're clicking on that subject line because they like the sound of that stuff and they'd like to learn more. Ideal scenario is that you mix it up with these 3 types. I see lots of famous internet marketing gurus that are making a big mistake. They only ever use personal, or they only ever use clickbait, or they only ever use informed. A great marketing strategy needs to incorporate all 3 of those to keep your list on their toes. They never quite know what they're going to get from you next. And then when it comes to the email itself, a really, really important strategy is that quite quickly in the email, you need to draw attention to the subject line and make sure that you close that loop. Opening a loop means teasing them with something that you're going to explain later on. Well, you've basically opened a loop in the subject line. You do need to close that. A bad email strategy would be having a subject line that simply gets the open, but then you never address it in the email. You're actually going to create frustration in your email subscribers, and they're not going to trust you next time they see your name land in their email inbox. Secondly, and I'm not saying I have the only strategy that works, but certainly this has worked for me, is I prefer to have shorter emails and prioritize getting people to click on the link in the email to come over to my funnel page to perform the next action, buy my product, book a call with us, or whatever else it is that I'm promoting. I know that other people that teach email like to have big, long emails that you're scrolling for days, and they're putting all of the information in the email itself. I don't particularly like that strategy. I want to make sure that I get them out of their email inbox where they're distracted, where there's lots going on, and I want them to click the link in the email and come over to my page. So my emails are focused on bite-sized content, broken up into little chunks, little paragraphs that make it really easy to read. I'll have 2 or 3 opportunities to make the click, and everything in that email is not designed to give them all of the details of the opportunity today. It's giving just enough to pique their interest, pique their curiosity, and get them to click that link and come on through to my page. So let's take a look at some examples of emails that I sent out to my list, and this promotion in particular generated over 6 figures in revenue for my business. This is a Google Doc that I put together, and I share it with my team, and we got our subject line in here, and then we've got the email copy itself. And I'm just going to scroll through very quickly and show you some of these examples outworked. Subject line here, good news and bad news, brace yourself. Okay, what type of subject line is that one? It's clickbait. Okay, and then you take a look at the email, and everything's very bite-sized. There's no big paragraphs. It's nice and easy to read, but we've got one opportunity to click here and another opportunity to click here, and then we sign off. Okay, next email, you can see the subject line again, huge news. Clickbait again. I do like the clickbaity one. I probably use the clickbait category more often than personal and informed, but you do need to be using all 3. So they're clicking to find out, well, what is the huge news? Nice, simple email, not too long, no big paragraphs, and a good opportunity to make the click. Here's a personal subject line. Okay, this little yellow bar there is just to be replaced by the person's name. So this would be quite simply their name, ... So thinking, well, why is my name in a subject line? That's interesting. So they click to open to find out what on earth is going on. Nice, short, personal email that matches the subject line with a good opportunity to click. And finally, let's look at one more example, which would be an informed subject line. Check it out. This one funnel feature made us 112,000 in 7 days. Okay, well, I know what I'm opening up this email to find out. I want to know what that funnel feature is. I know what the result was. I'm informed as to what this email is about, but it's still intriguing. So they're going to click to open up. And again, as you can see, you're getting an idea now for the length that I like an email to be. It's just enough to build intrigue, and I give them a couple of good opportunities to click and come over to our funnel page. So we've talked about a lot so far, but there's one final missing piece of the puzzle. You may have an automated email sequence. Let's say you have 10. Somebody joins your list, hands-free, they're going to receive 10 emails. But that's going to stop. And when it stops, they're going to be receiving nothing else from you unless you manually start sending out some extra emails. So how many do you send? How often do you send them? And what would you be saying and looking to achieve? So I'm going to share with you, for me, with my company, what my promotional calendar looks like. But keep in mind, I've got a large list with a large business. You may want to tailor this to the size of your list and your business a little bit as well. First things first, in any given calendar month, I'm going to be emailing my list close to once a day. It's going to look like about 2/3 of a month they'll be receiving an email from me on those days. I like to have that final third spread out where they're not receiving an email from me, but I have found the more emails I send, there's a direct correlation to the amount of money that we make in the business. So don't shy away from sending emails to the list thinking that you're going to annoy them. Some people may not like it. Some people might unsubscribe. But the reality is the people that do open those emails take massive action, and it produces great revenue for the business. So of those emails that I'm sending to my list in any calendar month, I'm doing one of 2 things. The first is that I'm going to send them links to pieces of content. Maybe it's a podcast episode. Maybe it's a YouTube content piece. Maybe it's a detailed email because there's nothing I'm trying to get them to click on to do next. I'm just going to simply provide some value right there in the email. I couple that with promotion-based emails. This would be where there is a call to action that I would like to ask my audience to take, whether that's registering for a webinar, booking a call with us to talk about coaching, or maybe purchase a product that I have. And I would like to balance these two strategies. So if you now look at what a promotional calendar might look like, there's really three things going on. The first is I'm providing value sporadically throughout the calendar month. Second is I'm doing promotion-based emails sporadically throughout the calendar month. And the third thing is I'm leaving them the heck alone. There's some days where I'm not sending them anything. Those are the three things, and you need to space them out just right. If you want to check out any of the resources that I've mentioned in today's video, the links will be in the description box. In fact, if you want to opt in for my lead magnet and see what that process looks like and get some ideas from that, that'll be down there. We've also got the link to Funneler. Grab a free trial, experiment with that. I think you'll love it. And finally, if you want to go deeper on that topic of lead magnets, which I think would be awesome for you, there's a video right here where I break it all down. So check that out. I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll speak to you soon.